見てます。かわいい人。
次そういうこと言ったらこの手をどけて口を塞ぐぞ。
So without a doubt, that was an ending to The Angel Next Door Spoils Me. But I can't say in my heart of hearts that it was a satisfying ending. This season, this winter season, there was recently another anime that we watched here on the channel. If you haven't checked out my reviews for it, please do. It was called Endo and Kobayashi. And the very long story short is it ends up with the two main characters getting together and the second pair of characters getting married and all that stuff. So it had a storybook ending. And The Angel Next Door Spoils Me, I think, was a really good story. And I talked in nauseum last week of how I kind of investigated the writer, and the writer is a lady. And the reason why that's important is, in my mind this whole time, Amane has kind of been like the main character of the story. And I've been kind of coming at it opinion-wise with that being the case. But finding out that the author is a lady kind of swapped and made me think, okay, Mahiru is actually the main character of the story. And the title is The Angel Next Door Spoils Me. So that's why the misconception could be there. But really, Mahiru is the main character. And at the end of it, it's kind of her, like her cup bubbling over, or her cup, like, you know, it's just so full that it's falling over to where she can't hold back anymore. And if you missed last week's review, go check that out. But I basically talk of how this story is kind of written from the female perspective of how, you know, typically a female would get courted, and typically how they like men to make the first move and things like that, which isn't always the case, because there is those cases to where, you know, a girl, you know, in school or whatever will go, you know, and they will make the first move. That happens. But for the most part, they, you know, most women tend to appreciate or tend to like when the men is the chaser and the aggressor, and the one who, you know, makes it known that, like, I want you. And they, you know, that's typically how it goes here. And I think this anime was a really good representation of she had feelings. She had feelings first, potentially. She bottled them up. He got feelings, and she began to kind of pursue, but instead of being direct and saying, hey, you know, just like straight up telling him, she was more dropping hints and trying to really make it known so that he could be that person to do it. And I was like, okay, that really makes sense to me. Now, when we get into the last episode, there's a few problems that I have, but overall, I will say this. You know, if you stop watching right this second, I think this was a solid 8. I'm going to go with 8. You know, and 8's a really high score. If we look on my anime list and pick an anime that has 100,000 voters, you know, and people will say, oh, my anime list isn't a good, you know, depiction of how an anime really, you know, really does and stuff. It's like, well, it's one of the only ways to really see on how an anime is really doing. And I think it's decent when there is a huge influx of people who are voting on it, because you're going to get the people who just bash on anime and the people who are just going to love it too much, and then you're going to get real people in the middle. So it's still a good depiction of how, you know, an anime can be rated. So an 8 on that scale, I think, is still very high. But there are some things that I didn't enjoy about the anime, which I'll talk. But the ending of the episode, we didn't even get a kiss. And I think that's kind of where my first my first little, like, you know, seriously, dude? Like, that's kind of when my first irk really starts, is like, we didn't even get a kiss. Like, we got a very intimate hug, I guess. And we got the longest confession ever via a flashback of Amane basically running us through the whole history. It's like, yeah, we know that, bro. I literally, like, I'm pretty sure I screamed out loud, like, tell her you love her, dude. Like, he still didn't even say I love you. Neither of them did. It's like, what is this weird? They just kind of agreed and shook hands of, we're dating now. And I'm like, that does not feel satisfying at all. And then we didn't get a kiss either. Like, we got closer to getting a kiss when Mahiru pecked him on the cheek or whatever than we did at the ending during our confession. So that felt unsatisfying there. And I would have loved to have seen maybe like an after credit scene of them. Like, there was a moment where he's like, I need to be worthy of you, which is like, you don't. She chose you already, so you don't have to be worthy. There's always this staple or this stigma of being worthy of somebody. It's like, you could be a piece of crap. If the girl chose you, she chose you. Just be you. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, I have to raise up to your level. He's already a top 10 scholastic student. He already does really well in school. The only thing he doesn't have is popularity, but you see what that's done to her. Why would you want that anyways? Just continue being you. You're a smart dude. It's like, you're already at the level. It's like he has this mentality, I have to rise up to her. I hate that, you know, and I always hate that. I hate when people have to rise up, or when people have to complete a challenge, or when they have to get well on a test, or they have to go and do some go win a championship, or go, like, they have to go accomplish something before they can just be with the person that they love, who loves them back. I always hate that shit. But regardless, you know, that whole entire ending, it was fine. You know, it was cute. I love the final animation of Mahiru, the art that had Mahiru there. I love that. I thought that was extremely cute. And I do like the last scene of them just, you know, really intimately hugging each other. That hug and that intimacy I have no problem with whatsoever. I would have loved for them to actually confess. One of them say I love you, and the other one says I love you back, or most Japanese don't say I love you, they say I like you, daisuki, whatever. So I would have loved to have seen them, you know, say that they like each other, you know, and consensually. Just say it for us, the viewer. Don't say it for, you know, just make me happy, the viewer, who gave you 12 episodes. Kiss, and then they can have an intimate hug. I just felt like it could have been a little bit more satisfying, you know. And I know I'm going in pretty hard. Again, I'm going to remind you 3, 4, 5 times of, I like the anime. I thought it was really cute. I think it's one of the better romance anime we've got in the past couple of years. I would put it easily top 5 romance anime we've gotten over the, you know, since 2020. I would say last 3 years, top 5 is probably number 5 out of those. But it was a beautiful anime, beautiful art, really cute story. They finally got together. I just want to keep reminding you, I liked it. It's just not perfect, and it could have been just a little bit more satisfying. You know, like, why not give us a better ending? We gave you our time. It doesn't take that much effort to make them kiss and just have a little bit more of an intimate moment, you know? The rest of the episode, you know, I've been telling you guys for the last, I don't know, since episode 8, I just felt like this has been dragged out a lot, and the last episode was another showing of it being dragged out. I literally wrote in my notes, what did I write here? These are my notes exactly, okay? I put, she kissed him on the cheek, then she ran away. I put haha, because I thought that was legitly funny. She just, like, she yeeted herself out of there. I thought that was funny. Then I wrote, this mother effer said why. It's like, bro, what do you mean why? Why would she kiss me? Why? It's like, come on, okay? And then I put here, so she broke first, because I was like, they were at a standstill. She broke first, and she came over to apologize, not for the kiss, but for leaving. And then I put, then he talked about them needing to keep their distance and him not being able to. And I literally wrote this down. I wrote forced buildup. They were forcing buildup of the ending. And then, you know, then the scavenger hunt takes place and stuff. And then, you know, she got her confidence back, and her card said, that find someone really dear to you. His was find somebody beautiful. Hers was find somebody dear to you. They basically announced their love, or they announced that they liked each other, basically, to the whole entire school. Homeboy gets grilled. She basically makes a fool out of the boys who are grilling him. He turns into Mr. Sulky, and then they have the longest confession ever. But, you know, again, 8 out of 10 anime. I think it just could have been better. It could have been a really solid. I know you guys are going to hate me for this, too. And if you're still here, I'm surprised, because I kind of went in a little hard. And, a lot of times for people who really, really love something, they're like, I hate this effing dude. But this could have been a super, super solid 6 episodes. So That's my final thoughts, though. I enjoyed the journey. It was a good anime. Again, better than most. It just could have been. It could have been really something, and it just wasn't quite there. But it could have been like a 10 out of 10. Like they could have killed it just by little minute changes and less fluff. But hey, those are my thoughts. What do I know? I'm not a writer. All right. I'm going to see you guys in spring season. Make sure you guys check out my spring anime, what to watch. I have 10 anime that are brand new that you should watch. And I also have a whole entire video of me going through every spring anime, dissecting them of what to watch. So make sure you guys check out those videos. I'll see you in the spring, my friends. Peace. Love is in the air.